consecutive year. I'm Terry Myers, this year's chair of the Commercial Real Estate Network, also known as CREN. If you aren't familiar with CREN, it's a group of realtors who assist clients in commercial real estate sales and leasing. It's fitting that CREN sponsors the state of Greater Springfield because of the job creation ripple effect that commercial real estate generates. Most of us frequent workplaces and businesses where a company either leased or purchased that property. Each one of those transactions likely utilized a banker, title company, attorney, architects, engineers, and a wide variety of contractors to improve that property to fit their unique needs. It's a pleasure to be here today representing CREN and the original group of commercial brokers that provided our beginning and our foundation. We have navigated the commercial purchase and lease transaction process numerous times and are familiar with the challenges and pitfalls that can occur. Relocating and acquiring commercial space is a complex, time-consuming, as well as an infrequent one for most businesses. However, hiring a member of CREN provides access to an experienced advocate. On behalf of CREN, I'd like to thank our business partners that have placed their trust in our growing membership. Now we'd like a moment to thank today's premier sponsors, Comcast, Springfield Clinic, and U.S. Bank, as well as partner sponsors, Brown, Hay, and Stevens, HDR, Memorial Health, and Troxel, and to all of our table sponsors that are listed in the program. We would also like to recognize many of our partners who are elected officials who are able to join us today. Misty Buscher, Mayor Springfield. Andy Van Meter, Sangamon County Board Chair. And all of the city, county, and other elected officials in attendance. Now stand with me and join me for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. And now I'd like to introduce Pastor Brian Mills from Hope Church to provide the invocation. Pastor Mills.
Mayor Buscher, Chairman Van Meter, Mike, thank you guys for this opportunity each year. I've enjoyed it each year. During commencement season, it's an interesting and confusing time. Is it a beginning, like the word commencement says, or is it the end of the last year? And it feels always a bit of both. Eager and grateful to look behind and excited for what's ahead. Let's pray together and we'll enjoy this time together today. Father in heaven and Father of all, we gather today as believers. We certainly don't believe in the same things, but we all believe in the opportunities of the future. We gather today as makers. None of us is willing or waiting for someone else to solve our problems or gather our resources or for fate to give us our future. We have assessed the risk, we have counted the cost, and we are ready to do what needs to be done as makers. And we gather today as partners. None of us is able to do this important work alone. Each of us on our best day is still limited. But all of us, even on our worst day, can do anything together. And so today we are full of gratitude and full of anticipation for what lies ahead. In Jesus' name, amen.
Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Mike Murphy. I'm President and CEO of the Greater Springfield Chamber of Commerce. On behalf of our presenting sponsor, the Commercial Real Estate Network, our premier sponsors, Comcast, Springfield Clinic, U.S. Bank, and our partner sponsors, Brown, Hay, and Stevens, HDR, Memorial Health, and Troxel, I am pleased that the Chamber can provide this opportunity for Mayor Buscher and Chairman Van Meter to give the state of the city and the state of the county. Advocacy is a very important part of the Chamber. It's one of our 4 core values. events like this allow us to continue to develop our relationships that we have with the city, county, state, and federal officials, and I'm very proud of that relationships. It's important for them to understand our advocacy mission, and if anybody's interested on the things that the Chamber is advocating for, please go to our website and check out our advocacy tab. Now I would like to turn it back over to Terry Myers to introduce our first speaker.
Thank you, Mike. It's my pleasure to introduce one of today's speakers. Misty Buscher was elected mayor of Springfield on April 4th, 2023, and was sworn into office on May 5th of that year. Before being elected mayor, she was a Springfield city treasurer from 2015 to 2023. Prior to being the treasurer, Misty spent 25 years working in the Springfield financial industry, with her last financial position being vice president of Marine Bank. Misty is an active member of this community. She is a distinguished Edgar Fellow and has served on the boards of various organizations, including the Springfield Area Home Builders, Capital Area Realtors, Friends of Memorial, Veterans Memorial Fund, and King's Daughters Organization. Misty has devoted her time to volunteering with numerous community organizations, such as the Red Cross, Boys and Girls Club, Spark, March of Dimes, Compass for Kids, and Meals on Wheels. She and her husband, Mike, live on the north end of Springfield. They have 2 children, Anthony and Courtney, and they are the very proud grandparents of Beckham and Alessandro, Anthony and his wife, Crystal's children. Please welcome Mayor Misty Buscher.
Thank you, Terry. Before I begin, I want to acknowledge some city elected officials that are in the room with us today. We have, to my left, the Springfield City Treasurer, Colleen Redpath Fager, and the City Clerk, Chuck Redpath, over there. We also have, as elected officials from the city, I saw Alderwoman Lakeisha Purchase walk in. There she is right there. And then Alderman Brad Carlson is over here to my right. And is there any city elected officials I did not see come in? All right, good. Got everybody. Before I begin my speech with the state of Greater Springfield, the first thing I want to do is ask that we all stop for a minute, excuse me, and have a moment of silence. We were tested over the past 12 months with some senseless deaths in our community. We lost Sonia in Springfield. Recently in Chatham, we lost Catherine, Ainsley, Alma, and Riley. So I would like you all, for these beautiful women and also for all those that have lost loved ones in the past year, just have a moment of silence. Thank you all very much for that. All right, we'll go to the first slide, and you'll see that I have put on here that we had a year that tested us, and that's why part of why we had to have that moment of silence. It certainly was a test. But as a community, guess what we did? We stood strong together. We stood and we moved forward together as a community. So for all of you in the community, I say thank you. Next slide, please. As a community, we repaired, we rebuilt, and we reopened as we dealt with different goals, achievements, and some catastrophes along the way. And we're going to talk about some of those here. Next slide, please. First, I'm going to highlight our tourism. Springfield Convention and Visitors Bureau has a table here. If you would all please stand up so we can applaud you for your hard work, I would appreciate it. These are the folks moving the needle for you in your tourism in our community. The Shields Sports Park, if I had $1 for every time someone said, I didn't think that would happen, I could retire. It is happening, folks. I want to give you a few highlights on the sports park. November of 2025 to November of 2026, There are only 2 weekends not booked at the sports park. Two weekends, that's it. I will give SCVB a second shout out because they actually secured a gymnastics tournament for that sports park for one weekend. So thank you, SCVB. A number of these tournaments are reoccurring tournaments that are coming over that year. And the sports park developers have been working hand in hand with District 186, with the Special Olympics, and with SASA to have a local community impact there as well. One of the things I'd like you to look forward to for the next year is in 2026, it is the 100-year anniversary of our Mother Road right through Springfield. We're gonna have a lot of visitors here and it's gonna be great. And we also have a great milestone as a country. It is our 250th anniversary of the signing of the Declaration of Independence on July 4th. So that's a huge accomplishment, and we're gonna throw a little party downtown for you to highlight that. Next slide, please. SCVB also wanted to make sure that we commemorated the famous Springfield horseshoe, in which we all love when we allow ourselves. You can see the commemoration of that at the Leland Hotel where it began, and that is at the corner of 6th and Capitol if you'd like to see where that is. Next slide, please. The infrastructure highlights, we're gonna talk about some things going on in the community that have already been accomplished and things that will be accomplished with infrastructure. Some of you have probably enjoyed taking the Madison and South Grand underpasses, the Cook and South Grand underpass that's open, the Stamford Avenue and Foxbridge Road that's open, 8th Street Bridge is opened, and our northeast sewers continue getting rebuilt in the northeast part of town. As you might have heard last week, we had an announcement that the rail corridor, I got the pleasure of signing a $157 million agreement with the FRA to finish that project. So that is very exciting. And looking ahead with that, when the 3rd Street tracks are vacated, we're going to call that the Link. L-I-N-C, you see it there. The Link is named after our good president who represents our community, and it's gonna also link our community in a walk-bike path. It's gonna be very exciting. We also have some exciting other projects coming along, and we will give you some information about those. Next slide, please. So downtown Springfield is gonna get a huge streetscape overlay. And one of the things you're gonna find through this overlay project, and I will tell you, I was at the grocery store one morning last week, and this gentleman stopped me and he said, I know when you campaigned you were complaining about the infrastructure and it being ignored, but do you have to fix all the streets at once? That's what he asked me. It is construction season. It is a time where we actually can take advantage of that. So pardon our mess as we fix your streets. You're gonna notice this going on downtown starting in June. What we're going to do is 6th Street from Cook to Madison is getting an overlay. 7th Street from Capitol to Madison is getting an overlay. 11th Street from Cook to Reynolds is getting an overlay. Monroe from 5th to 9th is getting an overlay, and Washington Street from 6th to 9th is getting an overlay. And what these overlays mean is we're fixing the curbs, we're fixing the gutters, we're fixing the ADA accessible ramps into the sidewalk, and we're fixing the sidewalks. So downtown will have a fresh new look. So that's super exciting. Next slide, please. The Springfield City Council will be voting tonight on the Downtown Springfield Master Plan. It is a master plan that marries the downtown with the Mid-Illinois Med District. You can use the QR code on the screen, and we will have this available on our city website later if you'd like to look at that plan. The city has committed in that plan to fixing downtown roads, which I just highlighted for you. We've also committed to working on cultural and arts with Downtown Springfield, Inc., more events for culture and arts in our downtown area. We've also committed to better wayfinding signage in our downtown area. And then we've also committed to working on the crosswalk of Jefferson and Madison. It's very dangerous there for folks to cross. So we're gonna do a study on how we can make that safer for all of you. Next slide, please. The city is currently renovating a home on East Cedar. Director Ethan Posey, could you please stand up? This is his project. Director Posey. The city owns this home on East Cedar. What the city is doing is renovating the entire home. The inside pictures are worse than the outside that you see here, let me tell you, I've seen them. But we're renovating the home, and the idea is to take a low-income area and create someone's first home where they can afford their own home. The city council will have to approve me selling it at a discount, but that's how we're going to create wealth in our low-income community. Next slide, please. We also have some exciting things going on for communication with you. Online permitting is being started right now. We have an engineering firm in the audience today that's testing that for us, so thank you for being our test pilot, Martin Engineering. We also have a construction firm testing that for us as well. We hope to have the online permitting to be available to the public by June. That would mean if you need a permit for whatever kind of project it is, you just apply online. You can still come in and see us, but we want to make it convenient for you. The second thing you're going to see, and we're going to go to the next slide, and we're going to show you some QR codes here, is See, Click, Fix. This is a passion of mine to give you better communication with the city. If you're an Apple user, you'll use the QR code to the right, my right, may not be your right. If you're an Android user, you're going to use the QR code to my left. What that QR code does is it is an app you download. When you download the app, you can find how you can contact us, and then there is a small portion at the bottom that says report. You click that, you take a picture of what you don't like that you see, whether it's a broken curb, a gutter, a tree fallen, whatever it is, and you report it. If you get on this app, you will see dots, colored dots. People have already reported. You can touch it and see what they've complained about. You can see their picture and you can see their response. So it's a tool that you can use to talk to us, but then you can see what's coming and going with the problems that you're finding. Next slide, please. Build Springfield. Back to my good friend, Director Ethan Posey. He helps head this up for me as well. We will be on our third year of Build Springfield. It's the first Saturday in October. It's at the Pillsbury area, the homeowners there. We visit the homeowners there. Any business is welcome to come out and volunteer. We also have an area, you can kind of see some of the tents set up, a staging area. Springfield Clinic comes and gives free flu shots. We have the YMCA there, and they talk to people about health and wellness. There's AARP. There's tons of booth space there if you want to come out. We offer free haircuts. We give free lunch. And we actually go door to door to the community and talk to them and see what their needs are. We also have public works trucks out there where we clean up the alleys, the streets, and the yards to make sure it's beautified. We will not stop going to this area for the build event until we have truly turned this area around and made a difference. Next slide, please. Here's one of our devastating events from last year, the Adams Street fire. So you have some pictures there. I would love to call your attention to the picture on what would be your far right, which is what you see now is the open hole. The reason I want to call your attention to that, you can see that there are buildings behind and around where this fire was. When I attend mayor conferences, I am asked, how did you not lose multiple buildings? How did you not lose the whole block? And I commend the Springfield Fire Department and their professionalism for that. We are very lucky. We have a Class 1 fire department, and that right there shows. Next slide, please. Adams Street is now open. There is still a hole there where that building was. 3, 2, 1. Yeah! But we launched last Wednesday the downtown farmers market, and last Saturday had the ribbon cutting for us. So please come out. Farmers market is back to its original space, and we had a lovely time downtown this weekend. Next slide, please. We're also trying to make our website easier for you to navigate. When you go on the City of Springfield's website, right in the middle, you'll see where it says City Navigator. It's like a little arrow. You click that, and it says, I want to, and you can just see exactly what you want to do versus going from page to page, trying to figure things out. It's an easy way to navigate the city website. We also are having open houses, so you can see some of the things. I always say the taxpayers pay me, you're all my bosses. Taxpayers pay our workers, and the taxpayers own all of our buildings. So we're having open houses so you can see some of the buildings you own. We had an open house on May 3rd at Station 1 for Springfield Fire. In 2 days, you can go to Public Works on North 17th and see their garages where all of our Public Works employees show up when they go out and work on the streets for you or the sewers. In June, on the 18th, you can go to the Springfield Police Academy, and you can see how we train our officers and experience that. And on July 16th, City Water, Light, and Power is going to have you at an open house where you can see where our linemen, who make sure your utilities that are on, show up for work every day and get in their trucks. So it's going to be super exciting. Please come out and engage with your city staff. Next page. Also on our city website, on the main page, you'll see it says, "From the Mayor." There is a blog that I put out there so that you can see what's going on in the community, and you can also access our press releases there. Next slide, please. We have an exciting new warehouse coming on the north side of Springfield on North Dirksen Parkway. The idea of the warehouse work is higher than minimum wage jobs for people who do not want to have a college education. This is the way that we bring Springfield out of poverty, is better paying jobs. That is the desire for these warehouses. Someone asked me, I've been asked more than one time, don't you think that's going to create traffic congestion? Well, of course there will be more Amazon trucks on the road, but isn't that exciting? We have Amazon trucks on the road, people are working, and your deliveries will come faster, Springfield. Next slide, please. Public safety. The Springfield Fire Department in 2024 responded to 27,508 calls for service throughout the year. The Springfield Police Department responded to 105,193 calls of service for the year. Your cops are busy, you guys, keeping you safe, and for that I am thankful. Next slide, please. I either had the disappointment or the luxury of two chiefs retiring at the same time. I don't know which way we look at it, right? Just kidding. Chief Canny is our fire chief on my right. His last day was Saturday, or Friday of last week, so he is not here. He is no longer a Springfield firefighter. He is enjoying retirement. But our new chief, hopefully tonight, Alderman Carlson, Alderwoman Purchase, I'm asking for your vote publicly right now. Hopefully we will have Chief Zumo after our vote tonight. Chief Zumo, would you please stand? Chief Zumo has been your assistant fire chief. He is amazing. He watched all 3 fire stations go through a build. He has been named as acting chief because our city council has not voted on him yet. And Saturday was his first day as acting chief. Sunday, day 2, he contacts me, and we had a driver go through Station 12 on Cokie Mill through the wall. So I was like, welcome, chief. So he has now officially is working as the acting fire chief. On your far right, my far right, is our current police chief. Chief Scarlett is with us until the end of the month, and Assistant Chief Joe Beal, hopefully after tonight, will get voted on as your new chief, Alderman Carlson, Alderwoman Purchase, asking again for your vote. That chief, Joe will not become chief until May 31st, so we won't have 2 chiefs at the same time. The ordinance actually states when he starts. But I do want to ask first just Chief Scarlett to stand because he's here with us, and give him a round of applause for his time with us. Chief Scarlett, it has been a pleasure to work with you. We've had some really, really gruesome, sad times, but I've had some good laughs with you too, so thank you. Yeah. Hopeful Chief Beal, would you please stand so everyone can recognize you? And Assistant Chief Beal is your current Assistant Chief at the Springfield Police Department. And I will tell you, Chief Canny and Chief Scarlett have left you in good hands. We have some amazing leadership in both agencies, and I could not be more honored to work alongside of them. Next slide, please. You will find that the Buscher administration has an idea of community policing. We have a motorcade. The motorcade you'll see is in DC. They were honoring fallen heroes recently in Washington, DC. Police departments from around the country are asked to go honor fallen heroes, and they did just that. And then, as you can see, we have bike cops again. Every neighborhood police officer is going to have a bicycle. They will be riding around in your neighborhoods. They will be riding around downtown, because visibility in community policing is what it's all about. For our students, our teens, to see our law enforcement professionals as real people. They're not scary, they're great people. So we're getting them a little closer to you. I can tell you my motorcade tells me that when they pull people over on the motorcycle, they're like, people are so much nicer when we're on the bike. I go, why is that? They're like, I don't know. Maybe it's Chips. Maybe everybody liked that show. I don't know. So thank you for your support of the Springfield Police Department. Next slide, please. From there, I want to talk about city water, light, and power. You, the taxpayers, have a municipal-owned utility. It is your utility. You own it. And that is not a real common thing. What we learned in 2023 when we had the derecho was on the far right is the best benefit of AMI readers that I can bring to your attention: faster identification and restoration of service. So 56 days into me being the mayor, we have the derecho, and when I went to bed at 2 a.m. that night of the storm, and I slept for about 3 hours maybe, I went to bed with more than half of my city without power. And I needed a little sleep. I was up before 5 a.m. back at City Hall. But I will tell you that our system is broken, I found. And what it is when I was a kid, my parents are here tonight or today, but when I was a kid, my mom would say, and there was like a phone hanging on the wall in the kitchen, go call CWOP and tell them our power is out. And you'd dial the number and it'd go beep, beep, beep. And you'd wait, and then you'd call back, and you'd wait, and you'd call back. Well, we have advanced technology in which you don't have a phone on your wall anymore, it's in your hand. And we have enough phone lines that you don't hear the beeping signal. But what we don't know is that your power's out. We're still waiting for you to call us. And that, to me, seems very antiquated. So at City Water, Light, and Power, we refinanced our bonds so that we can provide you with advanced metering infrastructure. And that means that when your power goes out, we know. Isn't that a novel idea? That we can tell, so that we can help you get your power back on. So through that catastrophe, we learned something we could do better at, and that's something we're going to do better at. We'll also eliminate the need for manual meter readings, so you won't have to see the people coming in your yard or trying to read your meter. Next slide, please. Another exciting project that your utility is doing is they have agreed to purchase 125 megawatts of solar from a 100 megawatt solar farm that will be built near Chatham in Sangamon County, huge solar farm. And what we're going to do is try to provide you clean energy at a reasonable cost through City Water, Light, and Power. This power purchase will represent about 6.5% of the load of our demand that you need every day. So part of my administration is to make sure you have clean, affordable power, and that's what we're working towards. Next slide, please. Does anyone in this room remember Springfield Green? I'm bringing it back. Mayor Tim Davlin started Springfield Green, and I've been wanting to do beautification. I've only been the mayor 2 years now, so we're running fast, y'all. But I called his family and said, may I use the name again? And they said we would be honored. And one of the family members is on the board, and we are bringing it back. If you are interested in participating with Springfield Green, call the mayor's office, 789-2200. We welcome you. We're going to start having some fundraisers, and we're going to start beautifying our city. We're going to go back to having Adopt a Street. We're going to go back to picking up litter and not letting people litter. We're going to go back to planting flowers and trees so that your community looks gorgeous. I am going to give a shout out to RW Troxel. I see your table here. If every business could be like RW Troxel, my city would be cleaner. And I mean that. Every day, they send an employee outside to pick up whatever rubbish someone has thrown out their window or dropped walking by. Every day. Thank you. And the last slide is just some fun pictures for you to see some great things that are going on in Springfield. The one thing I want you to do is if you will go to our website, you can sign up to get our newsletter. It is an e-newsletter. It comes in your mailbox, email, and it comes every Thursday. And one of the things I've challenged the mayor's office to do, which our communications director, Haley Wilson, is here today, so if Haley will stand. I thought I saw Haley. Oh, maybe not. There she is. She's hiding in the back. She puts your newsletter together, but one of the challenges was I hated it when I heard people say there's nothing to do in Springfield. So Haley, at the bottom of the newsletter, every week you get like 4 or 5 things going on in the community. Something is always free. So it might be a hike at Lincoln Memorial Gardens. It might be going to the Carillon Festival at Washington Park. But there's Hoagland Center events where you can pay and see theater. But we put things out there, so if you are bored and want something to do, we will tell you what's going on. The newsletter also will tell you all of the infrastructure projects going on, which is kind of lengthy right now. But it'll tell you if you're getting streets and sidewalks repaired in your neighborhood or on your drive to work, so you know what to avoid. So it's very helpful, things going on in the community. So I encourage you to sign up for the newsletter as well. I want to say to my parents, thank you. They come to everything that I am at. And to my husband, Mike, thank you for your support. I couldn't do this job without the 3 of them. It is a lot of long hours and a lot of missed family events. I love every minute of serving you, but those people are my support, and so I want to say thank you to them. And more than anything, for all of you here, I want to say thank you for being part of either the Springfield or Sangamon County community. We can do none of this without you, without great community members creating businesses, investing in our community, without great businesses, without our great team members at the city. All the things I talked about we're doing, none of that is possible without our great team members at the city. So I just want to say thank you to all of you for what you do as well. It is an honor to work with all of you.
Thank you, Mayor. I just want to add one thing about the mayor. Every year, the Chamber, along with our good partner, the Springfield Sangamon Growth Alliance, we put together a Washington, D.C. fly-in where we go and meet with all of our congressional delegations. We put together a community book that anybody across the community can put in there and ask. And we decided recently, since I've been there, that we're going to have one person talk for us, and that's been the mayor. And after the first time, I had somebody from the U.S. Chamber with me, and he said, I go to a lot of D.C. fly-ins, I go into a lot of meetings, and no one does it better than Springfield. And I give a lot of credit that to Mayor Buscher. Now it's my pleasure to introduce a good friend of mine, Chairman Andy Van Meter. He was first elected to the county board in 1994, and he was elected chairman in 2000. And I like to remind this group how he got elected chairman, because just to make sure you don't do this. He showed up late, and when he walked in, he discovered he was chairman. But he must be doing something right, because he's been reelected ever since. But I better give you another pitch here too. He's also the owner of Design Ideas that does a great job all across literally the world. But on a personal note, I want to give you a warning about Andy. If you become close and you gain his trust, be careful, because he's going to ask you to do things. He's asked me to do several things over the course of my life, and I appreciate his friendship and his mentorship. And I look forward to hearing what you have to say today, Andy.
To the Board of Directors and members of the Chamber of Commerce, their distinguished guests, thank you once again for the opportunity to assess briefly the state of our community. An invitation like this is always an exercise in looking backward and looking forward. Any survey of the current state of our community cannot omit to reflect on the tragic death of Sonia Massey at the hands of a county deputy. 10 months ago, the power of digital cameras made each of us witness to a moment I can only describe as senseless evil. A troubled citizen who could have been anyone's mother, daughter, sister, or aunt, made a call for help that ended in her death at the hands of a public servant specifically paid trained and empowered to protect the vulnerable. The facts outline a tragedy worthy of Euripides or Shakespeare, but made all the more poignant because it's all too real. In the aftermath, our minority community's understandably fragile confidence in law enforcement was left shattered, and our entire community instinctively asked the age-old question, what good can come from this evil? Unfortunately, evil raises its ugly head all too often in all too many places. As a consequence, the experience of other communities that had suffered similar tragedies offered us a partial answer to how to transcend this evil experience. The formula was as simple as it was profound. First, listen. Listen intently to the voices raised in anguish. Next, empower those voices to formulate concrete suggestions. And finally, act conscientiously to implement those suggestions that are wise and well considered. This has been the work of the Massey Commission over the past several months. Have its actions and recommendations been flawless? No. No human endeavor can meet that standard. But under the leadership of SIU Dean of Medicine Jerry Cruz and retired State Police Officer Joanna Johnson, the Commission has conducted itself with dignity and dispatch, providing a slew of recommendations that Sheriff Paula Crouch, has already implemented and suggested some significant changes in state law that Senator Doris Turner has already successfully shepherded through the legislature. The Commission has an ambitious agenda for its remaining months, but on its record so far, it is fulfilling the community's sincere hope to turn an excruciating moment of sheer evil to good purpose. One of the Commission's most transformative recommendations is to establish a mental health board for Sangamon County. This board would have the authority to raise up to $8 million in local tax funds and lever these funds with state, federal, and philanthropic monies to support a robust support network for those in our community who suffer from mental illness and their families. This has been a goal of the Sangamon County Board for some time, but we have been stymied by a quirk in state law that would have required funding for the Mental Health Board to come from the county's other responsibilities. Fortunately, with Senator Turner's prodding, the legislature removed this impediment in the 2024 session. At the Massey Commission's urging, the County Board has impaneled a diverse and exceptionally knowledgeable study group, chaired by the Chamber's own Mike Murphy, to survey the best practices from other counties and make a recommendation to our citizens on the best path forward for our community. We expect those recommendations to come by the end of this year, with the possibility of placing a referendum before the voters at next March's primary election. While the Massey Commission and the Mental Health Commission deserve our gratitude for tackling some immensely troublesome and consequential issues for our community, they are not the only citizens panels that have been working with the county government to effect positive change in our community. Scores of community-minded citizens, many of whom I recognize in this audience, have rolled up their sleeves to plan various aspects of the remodeled county building and the hub transportation facility that will soon adjoin it. Although the county was not included in the recent announcement of the penultimate tranche of federal funds that has been secured, we want to assure the community that the county government also has a profound interest in the program and $40 million of taxpayers' money invested in this project. With the final funding secured, the construction contracts approved by the county board, and the construction ready to begin as soon as the city issues the building permit, it seems appropriate to share with you some of the plans for the building that have been developed by various community committees. Slide, I think I call for a slide, right? This gives you a picture of the county building on the right. On your right, the hub, the transportation center in the middle, and you see just a little bit of the edge of the parking lot. I want to call your attention to this large blue screen there near the parking lot. This is a digital screen that these citizens commissions have envisioned as a way that we'll be able to broadcast and advertise community events. Next slide. If you enter the hub from the parking lot, this is the vision you'll see. The couple in the foreground is standing next to a digital screen that will give information on the trains that are coming and arriving. We'll also provide wayfinding for visitors to our community, and we'll have an interactive screen so that people who are celebrating events that take place in the county, marriages, births, for example, can adjust this screen so that if as an example, you wanted to take a wedding picture and you wanted to invite Abraham Lincoln to join your wedding party, you can adjust the screen and Abraham Lincoln will join your wedding party in the wedding picture. In the middle ground of this slide, you see a large green blob, I suppose, from your view. That will be a living wall of greenery, and it marks an area we're calling the county square. And then further in the depth of this photo will be the main entrance to the county building. Next slide. Now we've moved to where we're standing in the space that will be called that the Citizens Commissions have envisioned as the county square. And this is a cafe performance space that the Citizens Commissions are hoping to activate with local artists and musicians. We're gonna, in the next slide, we'll climb the stairs. Go ahead, slide. And now we're at the top of the stairs and seating area from the county square, looking back down on the county square on the left of the photo, and on the right-hand side at this level is the space reserved for the artifacts from the 1908 race riot that were discovered as a consequence of the 10th Street Rail project. That part is not designed yet, so I don't have a graphic of what it will look like. The next floor, the third floor of the building, thank you, slide person, it will be the new home of the Springfield Sangamon Sports Hall of Fame with a rotating series of panels to featured athletes, and then an interactive series of panels for visitors to learn about anyone who has been inducted into the Hall of Fame. Citizens committees have also been working on developing the visitor experience to the county building as well, but in the interest of time, I will save that information for some future presentation. Once the transportation center is complete, the county will begin to execute a plan for tying our new Sangamon South building, formerly the home of the State Journal Register, with the county building and the transportation center. As we began to study this project, we realized that we had a remarkable opportunity to connect the Lincoln home area with a walkway to the site of the future 1908 Race Riot National Monument, and from the National Monument site back to the Presidential Library and Museum. Let me share with you some preliminary visions of what this streetscape may look like. Next slide. This is a vision of 9th Street from a bird's eye view at Capitol Avenue, looking north towards the National Monument, what will be the National Monument. You can see the county building on the right and in the foreground, the former SJR building, and on the left, the city's municipal buildings. Next slide. This is a view of the ground level on the east side of 9th Street. And next slide. This is a view of one of the special features. It involves, I can't really describe it, but it involves water, let me say that, that the architects are suggesting for a space that's immediately in front of the county's parking garage. Some members of this audience, long residents of Springfield, may be forgiven if they find themselves saying under their breath, "Yeah, right, that'll happen the 5th of never." Let me reassure the doubters in front of a room full of witnesses that the county owns 3 of the 5 blocks on the east side of this project, and the county is fully committed to see it happen. The other 2 blocks on the east side are owned by Horace Mann Educators, one of our most publicly spirited private businesses, who have always expressed a keen interest in this project. In addition to these developments, the county has invested $16 million in its new Sangamon South complex, including a new evidence storage facility that supports our law enforcement system and a state-of-the-art regional coroner's facility that will serve all of downstate Illinois. We're in the middle of a $2 million project to modernize our courtrooms and will break ground within the year on a $6.3 million central facility for SMART, the transportation system that connects residents in our rural areas with fee-for-service transportation to anywhere in the county. In total, Sangamon County government is investing $73 million of local taxpayer money directly into downtown Springfield, which in turn is levering an additional $94.2 million in state and federal funding into our community's core. The Sangamon County Board is unanimous and bipartisan in its belief that a healthy downtown is good for all of Sangamon County. Before this talk metaphorically moves out of that downtown area, let me briefly touch upon 2 issues of particular interest to downtown development. Although all the progress is not obvious and observable, our community is making steady headway in dealing with the complex problem of homelessness. Let me share a few measures of our progress. In 2019, our performance was so poor that the Department of Housing and Urban Development told Jim Langfelder and me that they were going to put Decatur in charge of Springfield. In contrast, next month, our Heartland Continuum of Care will receive an award for its outstanding performance. In 2019, our federal evaluative score was 43 points below the median and 79 points behind the nation's highest score. In 2024, our evaluation score was 3.5 points below the highest score in the country. In 2019, our community received $400,000 in federal funding to address homeless issues. By 2024, our federal funding had increased by 50%. More impressively, we have levered an additional $1.8 million, largely in state funds. In hindsight, the project looks so simple. First, come down out of our silos and work together. This is the process started by the City of Springfield, the United Way, the Community Foundation, our 2 hospitals, SIU Medical School, and the county. This process developed a comprehensive strategic plan modeled on practices from other successful communities to deal with homelessness. In this endeavor to help the unfortunate, I cannot overemphasize the well-intentioned centrifugal forces constantly wanting to pull in their own direction to help in their own way. The challenge is to embrace this enthusiasm, but keep everyone focused on the strategic plan. In that regard, Mayor Buscher has played a critical role in keeping all of the positive energy focused on the strategic plan. The plan is maybe simplified as having 3 parts. Strengthen support for preventing people who have housing from losing what they have. Strengthen systems for rapidly rehousing anyone who loses their housing. And 3, focus on the long-term chronically unhoused with the panoply of support services they need to have a chance to return to the status where they can properly care for themselves. Steps 1 and 2 are focused on preventing the problem from growing larger, and we are making substantial progress in these processes. For example, in 2019, as a community, we helped only 94 people keep or find housing. In 2024, that number tripled to 304. Heartland House is now beginning to focus more efforts on the 75 or so chronically homeless in our community who face complex challenges to return to a standard in which they can properly care for themselves. Let me share with you one of the tools from Heartland House has developed, which will help enlist all of us in finding solutions for the chronically homeless. Slide. This is a slide that if you have an Apple, you can connect through this QR code, and it will install an app on your phone. And the app allows you to report to the system that you see someone who looks like they need assistance. And you can request on that app follow-up so that you are certain that someone has responded to your inquiry. And I can tell you that it works because over the weekend, I reported County Administrator Brian McFadden, who I very much suspect sleeps at his desk, and they responded. Will this app solve the problem of homelessness? Emphatically no. But it will improve our response to the problem, and it will move us closer to our goal to achieve functional zero. The key, as the mayor's leadership has consistently reminded us, is to keep everyone working together to implement the strategic plan. Rockford has achieved functional zero following this same model. We can too. Focused community-wide effort is the necessary element to success in any major community endeavor. It is also the relentless theme in my presentations to you. This theme could not be more in harmony with the efforts to expand the Bank of Springfield Center across Adams Street and onto the county's existing parking lot. Mayor Buscher has kept a small team focused on this project throughout the past year. Recently, by agreement, the county issued an RFP to gauge the interest of national firms in developing a convention center and hotel complex. I'm pleased to report that at least 3 firms with national credentials have expressed a serious interest in the public-private partnership required to execute this vision. The financing of this project will come from a menu of revenue streams, none of which involve tax increases for the citizens of Sangamon County. But one critical component, absolutely necessary component, will be state funding. In that regard, Governor and Mrs. Pritzker continuously express a strong interest in assisting the development of the capital city. Their one consistent request to us is that we be unified and organized in expressing our priorities. Costs are rising, revenues are limited, but my sense is that the window of opportunity is still open before us on this project. Since my beat is the county, I would be remiss if I did not at least briefly touch on important projects outside the downtown area. This past year, Sangamon County completed the installation of a $10 million upgraded emergency radio system that, for the first time, connects all our first responders anywhere in our county, and ultimately throughout the state and the nation. This project is the culmination of 20 years of work by County Board Member Dave Mendenhall. It will measure its success for many years to come in property and people protected and lives saved. Ensuring healthy lives for Sangamon County residents is the specific mandate of the Sangamon County Public Health Department, which operates from its facility on South Grand Avenue East. The county is currently working with architects and assembling funding for the transformation of this building into a comprehensive community services facility that would combine the Public Health Department, an SIU clinic, Capital Township's Assistance Office, the county's Community Resources Department, the state's Workforce Retraining Office, and our Veterans Assistance Commission. This project has been the vision of Senator Doris Turner since her days serving on the Sangamon County Board. Our goal is to provide easy access from any point in the county and convenient parking to create a one-stop shop for anyone seeking the myriad of local government services. We aim to end the ping-ponging of people from office to office and instead make assistance easy to access in one location. Finally, let me touch on the recent announced improvements of Woodside and Iron Bridge Roads and ultimately MacArthur Boulevard. This project that will provide a link between Springfield and Chatham has involved 2 United States senators, 3 congressmen, 5 governors, 3 state senators, 2 county board chairmen, 3 county road and bridge chairmen, 3 county administrators, and 3 county highway engineers, and 1 trip to the Illinois Supreme Court. Sometimes good projects take time. Overall this time, the Illinois Department of Transportation and the Illinois Commerce Commission have been our steadfast allies in seeing the project to completion. Work on the Iron Bridge overpass has started. The Woodside underpass will be completed in about 3 years, and assuming the bids this summer meet our budget, we believe the extension of MacArthur will be completed at about the same time. When we started this project 30 years ago, we fervently believed the adage that if you build it, they will come. That is, population growth would follow this development. But let me share with you some concerning data about our community. Slide. The red line on this chart depicts the number of new homes, single or multifamily, built in Sangamon County since 1990. The blue line depicts the trajectory for the city of Springfield, which is even worse. Chatham, the orange or yellow line, by far our fastest growing community, has a better trajectory, but a much less potent effect on our total economy. Many of you will be familiar with the fact that in the last decennial census, Sangamon County actually lost population for the first time in its history. The growth in population outside Springfield could not make up for the loss of population in our major city. Slide. There is some more challenging information contained in the data. Slide. This chart shows the relative size of different demographic groups in our community, beginning with the 1990 census. Children under 4 are grouped together on the far left. Adults over 65 are on the far right. You will notice that the over 65 group, sadly, now my bracket, was relatively stable at 12 to 13% over the decades, for decade after decade, until the most recent census, when that age group's percentage of the total local population shot up to 17%, an almost 30% increase. Concomitantly, the school age and preschool age cohorts in our population, the two groups starting from the left of the chart, have steadily declined. In fact, if our over 65 population had not increased its relative representation, the population of our community would have declined by 13,786 people, rather than the 3,235 person decline we actually experienced. But I want to call your attention to the third cohort from the left on the chart. Slide. This is young people between the ages of 20 and 34. These are the household formers, the first-time home buyers, the entry-level workers for our businesses, and the producers of the next generation. Their relative numbers among us have decreased by over the last 30 years by 23%. You might reasonably wonder, well, isn't this somewhat true of America as a whole? We've grown older with the baby boomers, right? That's true. In America as a whole, the 20 to 34 cohort has decreased in relative size, but it still kept growing in absolute numbers. That is, there are more Americans 20 to 34 today than in 1990. But in our community, the 20 to 34 demographic has actually decreased in absolute numbers. Slide. In fact, it has decreased the most of any cohort, and this during a time when UIS and SIU have been working to grow the number of young people they attract to the community. What is my point? My point is that we must know these facts and face them squarely. Let me ask this audience a question. How many of you have children? Raise your hands. how many of you are confident your children will raise their children in our community? We must ask ourselves what steps we can take specifically to make our community attractive to 20 to 34-year-olds. I do not have the answers, but I'm pleased to say that the Springfield Sangamon Growth Alliance and the Community Foundation are working on a proposal that will initially be funded by some ancillary benefits that devolve from the development of solar farms throughout the county. Their initiative, focused on arts and culture, may be one part of one aspect of an answer to this challenge. My second point is this: we need growth and opportunity to attract this younger generation. And if we are to attract new businesses and new opportunities, we have to stay united and focused on this goal. Slide. Our national economy is challenged. Our national politics is fraught. Historic demographers Neil Howe and William Strauss suggest we're approaching what they call a fourth turning, a moment of revolutionary change that occurs every 80 to 90 years. Whatever the case may be, as a community, we must try to resist the centrifugal forces that swirl around us. The temptation to pit one wedge of this circle against another will too often prove irresistible for small-minded politicians. But as a community, as neighbors, we must resist this simple sloganeering by leaders who substitute resentment for vision. We must stay focused on growth and opportunity. Slide. Because growth and expanding opportunities make these squabbles of resentment largely irrelevant. Can we do it? A new Amazon warehouse, a Shield Sports Park, a possible new Frito-Lay distribution center, the largest solar farm east of the Mississippi, a $1 billion gas plant, the conversion of the Pillsbury plant eyesore to productive commerce, and rippling rumors of mega data centers suggest that we can. We must never forget that this is the community that once focused and determined, literally picked up a railroad and moved it 7 blocks to secure our future. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Chairman. Now I get to ask him a couple questions, and this is a different role for me. Normally I have to answer questions, but now I get to ask them. And I want to remind everybody, every year we give you an opportunity to submit some questions, and I wish we had more interaction from our attendees. But I'm going to start with one from a member, and it will probably be directed toward the mayor, but Chairman, if you want to chip in, you can. Recently, there's been legislation on the federal level, H.R. 2410. I believe it was introduced by a congressman from Ohio. However, our local Congressman LaHood is one of the co-sponsors. And it's Main Street revitalization legislation that will allow a older, I believe it has to be over 20-year-old building, non-residential building, turned into affordable housing with some tax credits. Mayor, you talked about downtown Springfield. Do you think this is an opportunity that we could take advantage of to bring some younger people or some, with affordable housing?
It absolutely is. And when I researched the bill, that Congressman LaHood, who happened to be in Springfield a week ago, and I got to visit with him, but he is co-sponsoring, would allow affordable housing in mostly for downtowns and main streets to be revitalized for affordable housing, and the income bracket that affects is around $50,000 a year. So people who make around $50,000 a year would be able to have some affordable housing, and it's offering incentives for developers, whether they're from here or not from here, to develop those communities and those areas in our downtowns. I can tell you, as your mayor, I have been lobbying and advocating anybody I can find with a pocketbook to put money into downtown. There are some investors from the Chicagoland area that are looking at one of the buildings downtown that is something that I've been passionate about restoring. I've probably had 12 meetings with them. They've created an LLC. They've got funding mechanisms in place, and they're probably going to be coming forward with a contract to buy that building. It's super exciting. You have the old Illinois Bell AT&T building on Cook, going to be revitalized, and we're going to put workers back down there, which will be a huge influence. So anything we can do to get workers downtown, yes, I would support that, and that would be people living downtown.
Thank you very much. You want to add anything, Chairman? Okay, I didn't think you would. The next question was also about affordable housing, and you mentioned the project that you guys are working on. Can you expand on that? Is there hope for that to? How big do you see that happening in Springfield as far as homeowners, new homeowners getting their home? Do you have a hope?
So My First Home, is that what you're asking about?
Yeah, your
Yes.
first home.
So quite frankly, a individual, a business, an entity cannot do this because you're losing money. So anyone who's a for-profit isn't going to do this project. So it's going to take government to do this project. So it's something that Director Posey is heading up, and we are looking at creating this house that is like new, that's sold at a discount to a first-time buyer, someone who's never owned a home in the last 5 years as a technical. My banker friends in there are probably smiling at that. But what we're looking to do is take that home and make it like new. Then we need to repeat that process so that we can take this to IDA, to HUD, and say, we need your partnership, we need your help. Our country itself is in a housing crisis. Springfield is no different. But if we don't try to fix it ourselves, no one's going to do it for us. So the city is taking this on.
Yeah, and Chairman, coming from a small town, I'm from Divernon originally, it has changed dramatically. And I think housing is a issue in some of our rural towns too. Do you see anything that the county can do to try to improve some of the housing situations in the rural area?
The county legally, thank you. The county legally doesn't have a lot of authority in the realm of housing. Normally, housing and urban development, normally those issues are focused towards the municipalities. But we have been supportive of any municipality who's been seeking outside assistance from the IDA or other state agencies or from the federal government.
Yeah. Very good. My final question from the audience, by the way, I do have a couple questions of my own, but my final question from the audience was regarding roads. And I thought you did a great job explaining everything that's planned. But I wanted to give you an opportunity to talk about some of the challenges you have, because not all the roads in Springfield are Springfield roads.
That is a great point. Thank you for bringing that up. People complain to me all the time about, well, why in the world is Stevenson Drive in the shape it's in? Well, that's an IDOT road. And I will tell you, we partner with IDOT, and they're great people, so I'm not disrespecting IDOT. But I also can't just go fix someone else's road, because it's not mine to go fix. We have to get into an intergovernmental agreement, and we have to agree on who's going to pay for it. So Stevenson, Dirksen, Wabash, Veterans, 9th Street, a lot of my major roads, 5th, 6th, are IDOT roads in the community. So it takes a partnership agreement with Illinois Department of Transportation and the city to do those roads together. And they are great partners. MacArthur Boulevard is another, that expansion the chairman hit on. The IDOT has offered for the city to take MacArthur, and we have said not until you fix it, so that our taxpayers don't have to pay for that, and then when they fix it, we'll take it. But we're working with them, and they're working with us on that, and there's going to be some expansion there. So if you have complaints about roads, please tell us what they are. But I will have people complain to me, and I'll say, well, that's an IDOT road, and they'll go, oh, that's what you always say, or that's what they always say. Well, it's because it's true. I mean, we're not going to lie to you. But we are going to work on your roads, and as you can see what's going around downtown, I'm sure everyone in this room has been diverted at least once driving this past 2 weeks. We are working on your roads.
Thank you. I wanted to give you an opportunity to explain that, because a lot of people don't understand it. My last question, due to time, is, one thing that you talked about, Chairman, that really resonated with me is working together. I think the great project that we worked on the rail relocation, that, Hanson has done an amazing job with that, starting with our congressional delegation. Without Senator Durbin, Duckworth, and all the members of the House of Representatives all year, it wouldn't happen. But then Hanson put together a great plan, and my idea. They bring people to the table. We meet every month. We discuss problems. We find solutions. We do that together. There's no one in a silo there. So how can we expand some of those things? Give me a quick idea on something you can work together on, you two. Putting you on the spot. By the way, Chairman, you always put me on the spot, so I wanted to put you on the spot.
Go ahead.
I think we need to work together on connecting all the bike paths in our community is what I think we need to do. But
As I mentioned, we are working together very closely on this potential expansion of the convention center, and the tremendous potential for this community once the tracks move from 3rd Street to 10th. There are some amazing possibilities which the mayor's got us working on.
yes, and can I give a shameless club plug for a minute?
Sure.
So Monday, June 2nd, from 4 to 7, you're all invited to the Beach House, Center Park. It is Lake Springfield's 90th birthday. We're throwing a party for the lake. So we're having food trucks and a musician. We're going to have cupcakes and bags boards and games. Some of you call it cornhole. I don't know what you want to call it, but we're going to have fun at the park. Bring kids, come out. I can remember when I was a teenager, I'm dating myself, everybody drove in circles around Center Park and checked each other out and waved and stuff, and nobody does that anymore. So we're bringing you back out to the park. We're having a big party, and I'd love for you to be there.
You know, as long as we're giving shameless plugs, why don't we plug Wednesday, June 12th, from 5 to 7?
5 to 7 at the Dana Thomas House.
Will be the first time the community gets to see what you've been working on 3rd Street, right?
Yes, for the link, the LINC, the 3rd Street corridor. You can come see the link, what it's going to look like. We specifically have a drawing of what Capitol Avenue, the nasty-looking gray train trellis that our fire truck doesn't fit under right now, right, Chief Zumo? But it will when we get a new one. You can see what that's going to look like, but then you get to vote on the logo of the link. We've got some ideas, and you get to vote on the logo and pick it. The community does.
Well, thank you both very much. I truly appreciate you guys being willing to do this, because without you guys showing up, we really wouldn't have an event today. And so I understand it's not the easiest thing to do to talk to a group about what's happened and what your plans are, but you guys both do an excellent job, and I greatly appreciate it. In closing, I want to thank our presenting sponsor, the Commercial Real Estate Network. Thank you guys very much. You guys have been a partner for us for years, and I truly appreciate it, and I don't take it for granted. Thank you very much. Thank you to our premier sponsors, Comcast, Springfield Clinic, and U.S. Bank, and our partner sponsors, Brown, Hay, and Stevens, HDR, Memorial Health, Troxel, and all of our table sponsors. We appreciate everyone being here, and see you next year. Thank you very much.